Good evening, America. I'm Scott Binsack, founder of March for America. Thank you for joining me. I'm just coming on quick. I want to see if this goes live. People are saying there's something up with Facebook. Yeah, I am live. I will be live tonight, shortly. But I wanted to touch base with everybody about this Ninth Circuit ruling, which we all expected to be. I didn't think the Ninth Circuit was going to rule in favor of Donald Trump. They're the most overturned circuit in the United States. They're very liberal and corrupt. It's very clear how corrupt this court is. But they are the most overturned. Hi, John. How are you? I'm just coming on quick, everybody. I will be on with a full show tonight from live stream. Actually, two shows. One from live stream about this court ruling and some other stuff, and then I'll be live with an update about MFA haters and some other things going on. And it will be shot from live stream, fed into Facebook, and then thereafter removed. Hi, D. How are you? All right, I'll wait for some more people to get on here, because this is very serious what's taking place, and I want to explain to you why. Because this is unheard of, uncalled for, It never happened in the history of the United States. Some people are trying to bring up some prior rulings that George Bush suffered from Gitmo in Cuba, that the federal courts got involved. It involves an entirely different question and has nothing to do with the president's executive powers when it came to George Bush and Gitmo. What the Ninth Circuit has done here, this is very, very dangerous, because, number one, how this started is you have two states, Washington State and Minnesota, who brought these claims that their citizens, their Muslim citizens, and their campuses, their colleges, their citizens were going to suffer irreparable harm by Trump's order. All this is smoke and mirrors and bullshit, because the president, as a matter of law, has the right to enter in an executive order to protect the United States at times he feels for security needs, and does not have to give a court or anyone else the reasoning for it. So by this three-panel, and just so you know, this could go in bank before, that means the entire Ninth Circuit. I don't think Trump should go that way. I'm going to explain to you what I think should be done. And listen, I don't know who they got in the White House or who their head counsel is or what they're doing, but they're not making themselves look very good, because anybody who understands law, this is not, this is law 101. Number one, there's no jurisdiction for the federal court in Washington State or Minnesota, Minnesota, to bring this action, number one. Number two, the Ninth Circuit's court has no right to tell the president he cannot carry out an executive order. This has never happened in the history of the United States. The Democrats are using the liberal federal circuit court system to try to destroy Trump. Because what this happens now is you're going to see, as I said to you last night, they are now, any executive order that Trump does, they're running to a federal court and challenging it. And this is setting precedent, and it's not legal precedent because it's illegal. It's unconstitutional what these judges have done. And they're using the federal courts now to challenge any executive order that Donald Trump does. So in other words, like, he wants to do, anything. He wants to make it safer for law enforcement. If he wants to make it, you name it. Okay? This is very, very bad and very dangerous. And this is very bad. What needs to happen here is very simple. Trump must repeal that executive order. If he repeals the order, it stops this court proceedings and they have no jurisdiction again whatsoever. He just withdraws it. He cancels out this first executive order, okay? Cancels it out, then it makes the Ninth Circuit court's ruling, all this bullshit, gone. Have a nice day, pack your shit, courts. You didn't have the jurisdiction to begin with, fuck you. Then he issues a new executive order, okay, with a little bit of different language, carrying out the same thing, and issues a new one. Bottom line. And it shuts these people right up, and they don't have a standing whatsoever. And it doesn't even need to be overturned. It doesn't even need to be overturned. He just needs to rescind his order, his original executive order that they're challenging. He rescinds it. He signs. It's very simple. It takes 5 minutes. He rescinds the order, drafts up a new one with some different language in it because the judges were referring to green card holders and blah, 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 blah. Fine. Draft up a new one and then smash them with it. But the problem is that if he doesn't do this, they're going to keep, what they're going to do, this is dangerous, and this is how the Democrats are doing this, to challenge anything he does. You're going to see them right back in court, and I gave you a case yesterday that they're going after him for another executive order in federal court. This makes the presidency not the highest authority in the United States anymore. It's giving the powers to the federal court, and that's not how this works. If the president has to declare war, if the president has to, for the security of this country, deem martial law, if this president has to stop immigrants from coming in from Syria because of a serious problem there, or Afghanistan, or whatever, it takes away the power from the president, and that's what they want. They're trying to take away Donald Trump's power, and thus how does he act as commander-in-chief? That's why you have separations of branch and government, and you have the executive branch. Never in the history of the United States has this happened. Never, ever, ever. The Supreme Court, listen, the Supreme Court's not even going to want to hear this case, and I'm telling you, they're on it. Those guys up there are not on, what you think they are. Okay? And Trump's pick is not going to be in there, and I don't trust that guy anymore. I don't trust him. I'm doing a show on him tonight about this order. All he has to do, nobody needs to take this to the Supreme Court. No one needs to do anything. Just rescind the order. He just signs another executive order rescinding that order, and it kills it. Their whole court arguments gets killed. Everything gets killed. Just sign it and rescind it and issue a new order, and it solves this problem. It's really just that simple. And you got to split in the Supreme Court 4-4. No, Sessions is not going to end this. This is not what's going on here. This has nothing to do with Sessions, just so everybody knows. This has to do with a corrupt justice system, and the Democrats are using federal judges at their disposal to carry out, they don't even have the power to do what they're doing. I don't understand what's going on with this. Trump should just have rescinded the damn order to begin with, told them F you, and put a new order in. I mean, this is not difficult. And only did I hear one expert come up and say this recently. Say, look, just rescind the freaking order. I said this 2 days ago. Just rescind the executive order. Then they have nothing to argue about. Because the Ninth Circuit they're the most overturned circuit court in the United States. Understand this. What does that tell you about them? That tells you these judges are liberal and wanton and willful and do not follow the law. It shouldn't even be in the Ninth Circuit's hands. It shouldn't even be in a district judge's hand. You cannot challenge, you have no jurisdiction to challenge a president's executive order. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. He has to know that he has to rescind this. This is the biggest fix. I'm telling you, it's a coup d'etat. I'm telling you, it's a coup. And the information, I bet, is going to start to flow out that this is a coup d'etat against Trump to cut his They're using the Democratic executive orders, federal judges to attack Trump's executive orders. And now this sets precedent for them to attack everyone. How does a president operate if you can use the federal court to challenge everything he decides? It doesn't work that way. That's why, like a federal judge, you can't sue the Ninth Circuit for their decision. Why? Because they're immune. They're immune from suit. They are immune from suit. Donald Trump, as president of the United States, so is the United States immune from suit. It is a sovereign republic. You cannot sue the United States itself. It doesn't work that way. All you have to do is rescind this order and issue a new one. Change some language in it, and that's it. And this is very dangerous for the United States because he has the executive power to stop immigrants from any country he wants coming into this country for security reasons on a temporary basis. They sidestepped this, and they found this asshole judge who is clearly an asshole, clearly a liberal, clearly on the take, okay, and they filed it deliberately. This was a plan. As Sean Hannity said, I said it before that, Sean said it. They deliberately used and picked the Ninth Circuit to do this. Other circuits would have never been ruled like this. I'm almost 1,000% positive. They picked the worst circuit, the most liberal circuit, to pull this shit in. And you see Homeland Security following a federal court's ruling over the president. You can't do that. Yes, Joan, America is turning into a laughingstock. This is horrible. Yes, Cynthia. Sean had it on last night. I had it on the night before. I did a whole show about the law having to do with this. It's up on our MFA TV live stream. I don't know, Louis. I don't know what I don't know who's feeding them this legal information. It doesn't make any sense to me. And now you have, this is dangerous. You're going to see, mark my words, if Trump does not rescind this order or get this matter up to the higher court, Supreme Court, ASAP, then you're going to see federal filings for every executive order he signs. When someone doesn't like it, they're going to go to federal court. You're going to get a Democratic judge that's going to say, I enjoin him, I enjoin him, I enjoin the president, I enjoin, so that none of these executive orders can work, and they're going to tie this man's hands up, and the man can't even be president of the United States. This has never happened in the history of this country. It's a coup d'etat. I'm telling you. It's the left standing up against the right, and I don't know who he's got in there advising him, but this is bad. Yes, Paul, they're doing it because they're getting away with this. This is just really bad. The courts, if this goes up, it just doesn't even need to go to the Supreme Court. And I'm going to tell you something. The Supreme Court can turn around and say, we don't even want to hear this because I'm going to tell you something in the history of the United States. Do your homework. The U.S. Supreme Court has never gotten involved or challenged that of a president's executive order. That's why this is unheard of. It's unheard of. Yes, Tom, I have noticed that. Sessions is not the one. Listen, I do not know. Everybody keeps thinking that Sessions has to do. These federal courts don't have jurisdiction to overturn a president's executive order. They do not have the right to do what they're doing. If the Supreme Court doesn't take this, which I don't think they will, I don't think that they will, then it's going to sit there and it runs out in 120 days, whatever it is. I wouldn't even wait for that. Trump should come out immediately, rescind this order, say, okay, fine, assholes, I rescind it, there's no more argument, and issue a brand new executive order with some different language meaning the same thing, and let them try go through this whole process all over again and show them that this is the law it is, now that Sessions is in, so they can have the right people argue this for them, because it shouldn't even be in the federal court, district court's hands. The only thing that should be in a district court's hands is that of when you saw in New York. What you saw in New York is the two Iranian detainees. They filed writ of habeas corpuses. Anybody can file a writ of habeas corpus in this country. It goes to a federal court and they say, okay, you're being wrongfully detained. They say, why are you being wrongfully detained? They have to prove that the law that the president is holding them on is illegal. They can't even do that. That Massachusetts judge was right on the money. The Massachusetts judge is right on the money with this. Yes, they can write a new one. Yes, Damon. That's why it's called the executive branch. And it's never happened before. People are trying to bring up, the Dems are trying to bring up that George Bush got sued, in federal court having to do with similar. No. George Bush got sued in 6 cases with Gitmo about detainees, and they filed writ of habeas corpuses against them being held in Gitmo. And it had to do with the law, the United States Constitution, dealing with outside of this country in Cuba and them being detained in Cuba. Okay, out of the 6 cases, they lost 5 and they won 1, and the 1 has nothing to do with actually any of that. So it has nothing to do with an executive order or stopping. Donald Trump as president can have information that we don't know. We'll say that they know that there's an impending terrorist attack from Iran. I'll give you an example. The president comes out, he gets this information, and he says, wait, I need to issue an emergency executive order to stop Iranians from coming into this country, okay? Just like they did during Japan, World War II, and other things. Listen, these people cannot come in anymore right now, temporarily, till we get this straightened out, until this threat goes away. He doesn't have to tell the whole world why. These courts are actually asking, why are you putting this order in? Why are you doing this? If he feels it's a security risk, he feels it's a security risk. They don't have the right to question that. That's why he's the president. That's why he has the right to do this. And this makes, this is ridiculous. Scott, why are they giving our president the business? I don't know what she means by that. Yes, Carter did this in a way as well. Okay? Carter did this, Bush did this, Obama did this. And none of them, you can't challenge them in federal district court. This shouldn't even be before the Ninth Circuit. But they deliberately planned this. They planned this. They used this judge to do it in Washington State. And they knew the district would go along with it because they're pieces of shit, liberal, corrupt judges in the Ninth Circuit. They are the most overturned. What does that tell you? The most overturned circuit out of all the circuits in the United States. That means that they have a history of not following the Constitution and the law, and the Supreme Court has had to overturn them the most out of all districts in the United States. That just goes to prove to you that these guys have no credibility in the Ninth Circuit. Maybe not all of them, maybe a couple do, but if the whole court overall does not, it's the most overturned, and it's the most liberal. They're allowed to remain on the bench because they're presidentially appointed for life. Yes, Bradley, this country will erupt if they keep doing this. That's what they want. I'm telling you, all he needs to do is rescind the order he has. That shuts them up. That means that the Ninth Circuit's order means nothing because he rescinded the order. You rescind it, Trump, rescind it now. Rescind it. You got Sessions in there, draw up a proper executive order that follows which it did, his law, just so you know, everybody. His executive order followed the law to a T. So this is my point. He is following the law. They are circumventing that and trying to do everything that they can to shut him down. And this has never happened in the history of the United States. And as I told you, it's a coup. It's a coup to undermine Trump and to make this go nuts. Okay? But he needs to act tonight. I would say this. Rescind the order that makes all this Washington State and the Ninth Circuit meaningless. It's mute. As they say in law, it's mute. It's bullshit. Karen, you're wrong. Okay? Federal judges are appointed for life. Okay? And the only way to get a federal judge off the bench is to prove that they did something ex parte outside of as a judge that will affect their judgeship or on the bench. If they abuse their discretion, okay? If they abuse their discretion in a case and they get overturned, they can still not be fired. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. Okay? I've challenged judges and I've fought judges in the federal district court and I've actually won. I got a judge thrown off my case and a new one put on it because he lied and he was associated, personally affiliated with a defendant I was suing out of a newspaper. Okay? What I'm trying to tell you, The Ninth Circuit, forget about political correctness. They acted deliberately against Donald Trump. Okay? That's what they did. Yes, I've seen the commercial starting on Neil Gorsuch. I'm not a very big fan of Neil Gorsuch right now. Federal judges cannot be impeached, so to speak. If you find that their behavior is wrong, they can be reprimanded and things of that nature from the disciplinary boards. But it's very, very hard or rare to get judges thrown off based on a decision. That's why they're immune from lawsuit. Judges are immune. The president is immune. Congress is immune from lawsuits. If a judge commits treason, well, listen, and have good luck trying to prove that. Good luck trying to prove that a federal judge committed treason. Okay? This is, people don't understand how bad our judicial system is, and this is how judges can stay in power, and this is how corrupt judges stay in power unless you really go after them and prove that they did something. I'll give you an example. State judges in the Pennsylvania Commonwealth, you can Google this. It's called Kids for Cash. I even beat one of these judges. They were deliberately sending children to juvenile facilities and getting kickbacks from the private juvenile facilities, and that is breaking the law while they're acting on the bench. Now that is a reason that they can be removed. Okay? That is breaking they committed felonies. Federal felonies, okay? And they're now doing 20 to 30, both of them. So, but other than that, a judge's ruling is not a reason. There's no reason. There's no way in hell you can get a judge thrown off a bench on a federal court level for their ruling. Not at all. That's why they know this. They can do and say whatever they want to say. Yes, they did not follow the law, but you can't do anything against them. They'll just say, oh, we made the wrong decision, like they have in the past. They don't care. Nothing you can do to them. Yes, Mary Lou, they're making a mockery of this president, and that's what they want to do. And if there is an attack, this is what I'm trying to say. You're going to see now every executive order that the left does not like from Donald Trump, it's going to be challenging it and running right to federal district court. And federal judges, if they're liberal Dems and they're on their side and on the take, they're going to be ruling against this, and this is what precedent's going to be set in this. And it shouldn't be precedent because it's not law. They have no jurisdiction to overturn a president's executive order. The courts are the problem because these judges are on the take. These judges are liberal. People are not listening to me. The Ninth Circuit is the most overturned in the United States. That means previous cases that they ruled in favor of have been overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court. That's not a good record to have for a circuit at all. When the U.S. Supreme Court reverses you, you better pay attention because it's serious. No, the left does not want America to be great again. That's why they keep pushing their agenda, and they're going to keep pushing their agenda until people say enough. Okay? And this is what they're going to continue to do, and people are shocked. I'm telling you, legal experts in this are completely shocked. I'm shocked. I'm telling you, I have 25 years of law. I'm a very smart guy. I got a genius IQ. I'm not trying to boast. But this is not rocket science here. This was a serious, planned attack against Trump. God help us is right, Judy. No disrespect. Yes, he can redo the order. Yes, Cynthia Lou Dobb just said Neil Gorsuch should withdraw from the appointment. I agree. That's what my show is on tonight, as well as this. I'm going to get into you with lots of cases. I'm going to bring even some cases to prove to you they can't do this. Trump must. Trump, pay attention. You must rescind this order right now. That makes the Ninth Circuit's ruling and Washington State and Wisconsin, Minnesota, all overturned by, it doesn't matter. None of it means shit. Rescind the order and issue a new one. And just redo the order with some little bit different language, but meaning the same thing. Hit it home And that's it. Let him try to go to court then thereafter it. It's just that simple. Gorsuch is the wrong guy. I'm telling you now. He's a sellout. He's a sellout. And Gorsuch should step down from the appointment. Trump should actually tell him. Trump has the right to say, listen, I don't want, I'm changing my mind. Yes, Karen, you are very right about the U.S. Title Code. I've said this the other way. Trump's mistake was to follow someone's bad advice when the judge from Washington banned the order. I agree. I agree. This is not... Trump needs to clean house right now. He needs to clean house. He needs to get his shit together, rescind this order, and put another one in there and say, listen, I'm in charge of this, and I'm telling you, his Supreme Court pick is no good. No good. I'm telling you, somebody put this shit in his ear for Gorsuch, and this is not good. There's somebody in there, or maybe 2 or 3 even, that are forget moles. They're complete coup d'etat rats. These people are working for the other side, and there's somebody close to him, or like I said, a couple close to them, and I'm starting to question Kellyanne Conway. Kellyanne Conway's selling them under the bus all the time now. She made a big error today about Ivanka, like this is some joke or something. You just rescind the executive order and reissue a new executive order. Right now. It stops all this. Don't be saying you're going to take him to court. Stop wasting time with the Supreme Court or going before a whole panel of the Ninth Circuit. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Because they don't want it to work. It will not work. They want to destroy this president. And he needs to wake up to that. And who's ever advising him needs to get fired. Like now. Bye. Pack your shit. Shannon, isn't it better to take it to the Supreme Court? Here's the problem. The Supreme Court right now is only 4. The problem is the Supreme Court has never heard a case having to do with this, like this same, this. They don't hear this cases because it's never happened before. It's never happened before. You can't challenge a president's executive order is an executive order. It's law. Is the executive branch. You can't just go and say, I don't disagree with the president, and say, okay, fuck you, I'm getting rid of this, and have a judge. This judge in Washington State knew exactly what he was starting when he did this bullshit. They knew exactly what district to pull it in. They knew exactly the Ninth Circuit would go for them. They know the liberalness. They know it was fucking wrong, and this is it. It's creating, now, going to create havoc. I'm telling you now, all the liberals and all the assholes are running to get their court motions ready to challenge all of Donald Trump's executive orders if they have an issue with them, and they're going to be filing them in their district courts around the country based on this ruling. I mean, this is horrible. Fox News said he didn't make those comments. Well, you know what? Gorsuch, if you didn't make those comments, you need to stand up and go tell the world you didn't make those comments. Because there's many senators saying you did, and that they overheard you say it. So if they're selling you all out, my man, you need to go stand up and go before the world and tell them I didn't make those comments. You sold out Trump. You're a 10th Circuit District Court. You know damn well that Trump has the illegal executive right to carry out that law, and it's not the court's jurisdiction in federal court to rule against it. Now, if there's a detainee that files a writ of habeas, like I told you, and he can prove, or she can prove, that this order is harming them, meaning they are legal, whatever, guess what? They still don't have a standing because the president has the right to stop all visa holders, green card holders, when he deems fit for the security of the United States. So what they have done right now, in a backhanded, scumbag, corrupt way, is remove Donald Trump's executive powers from him. That's what this represents, and that's why it's so fucking dangerous. Excuse my French. I had somebody message, Scott, I love you, but I don't like your cursing. Well, this is me. Take it or leave it. Now, no, what he needs to do is, I'm telling you, just wipe out this order, rescind it, it shuts them up, and issue a new one. Yes, Bill Clinton did it, Bush did it, Obama did it. And you know what? I did not see the Department of Justice argue, and they shouldn't even be arguing, just so you know. They shouldn't even be arguing this before a court, and that's my point. I didn't even see them argue and prove prior. Department of Justice did not stand up and say, by the way, on this date, President Obama acted on the same executive order. On this date, Bush acted on the same executive order. On this date, Clinton acted on the same executive order. Why is there no cases then? Why is it? Because they have no jurisdiction to hear the fucking cases. I think Kellyanne is there's something wrong there. There's something wrong there. Laura Ingraham straight on the money. Trump should get Laura Ingraham in there ASAP. I thought she was in the works to get picked to go in there. Misty, the Democrats want to take Trump down and they don't care if they take the country with it. Screw the Supreme Court. They're not going to hear this case. I'm telling you all. I'm telling you. They're not going to hear this case. And if they do, they're going to drag it out as long as they can, and it doesn't belong there. Trump can avoid all of this by rescinding the executive order. Just rescind it. Stop this in its tracks, rescind the order, and issue a new one. Meaning with a little bit of different language in it, and that's that. Yes, Joe, they're also 4-4 right now. Yes, he must rescind this order and it stops all this. He needs to take the upper hand, rescind the order, and issue a new one. I will be on in a little bit, everybody. I have to get to the office to do this. So, Supreme Court can send it back down to the Ninth Circuit, letting it stand. But I don't even think they're going to do that. If you do your homework, you will see that the Supreme Court, a president's executive order is not a federal district court's or a circuit court's decision to challenge. Only person that can challenge it is, like I said, if someone is the victim. But even then, the judge should rule within the 4 points of the law. And the 4 points of the law is, if I'm from Iran or Syria and I'm on the ban list for the security of this country to go through an extreme vetting process, then the simple thing is this. Okay, go through the process. You don't have a standing in this country to even file a writ of habeas corpus, assholes, because he's rescinded your visa, he's stopped your green card, you're done. That's it. Gorsuch publicly said he didn't make those comments. I haven't seen that. Bannon can be trusted. Priebus, So, yeah, Obama's walking around wonderfully free, laughing right now. Yes, Cynthia, Judge Deneen knows the law as well, very well. All right, guys, I love you. Like, share, please. Thank you. And, I'm mad. I'm cursing. I apologize, but that's it. I'm not even apologizing because this to me is very dangerous. And the more that these people keep doing this, they're destroying our country. I already knew our judicial system was bad, but this is really bad. These judges are showing their true colors, and you're seeing their corruption come out, and they're using their powers as presidential appointed judges to do it. So that should scare everybody in this country, because if one day you have to go before a federal judge, or they have to rule on a very good case in your country, in your state, or something else, just look at how easily they can be persuaded to not follow the law. Look at how corrupt they are. And I'm not saying this about all of them, because the judiciary, there are many, many good judges. But I even know that many good judges are probably upset right now as well with their constituents ruling on this bullshit like this. No, Cynthia, the lawyer that didn't represent the Department of Justice is horrible as well. I would have been there as the lawyer saying, listen, Your Honor, here's the bottom line. You don't have the jurisdiction, and I would have cited the previous cases, that instances that the president used the same executive power to do it. There's no presiding case law. There's no nothing in this arena. This is a whole new arena that they have created themselves to stop Donald Trump and make a mockery of him. Yes, many snakes. Mary Lou, it's a good question. I'll answer those some more in a little bit. I'll be on in a little while, okay? No, Soros is not involved. Well, listen, these judges, it doesn't matter. They planned this entire matter. Hey, Chad, I'm uneducated. Go do some more homework. Hey, Chad, you're a troll. You have no idea what the law is. I've been right on the money the whole time. Nice picture, asshole. Goodbye. Yeah, I'm uneducated, all right? Sure. Anybody watching this knows I've been right on the money about the law with the courts, and every move they're going to make has been right on. Pack your shit, my man. Have a great day. Yes, Sue. One thing I'm not is uneducated, and one thing I'm not is stupid. Lynn, Kellyanne is acting within her emotions, overwhelmed by all... Yeah, could be. I mean, they're under a lot... This is what I'm trying to tell everybody. The White House, Trump's staff is under severe pressure, and this is what they're doing. From all sides, and I said this 2 months ago, they're going to come at Trump from all sides, internationally and at home, with everything that they got. This is what the globalist elite are doing. Obama's behind this. Clinton's behind this. Soros is behind this. You know, you got Warren behind this. They're all together. McCain. They're all together in this. Don't kid yourself. Okay? They are being hit on all sides. The stress of this and the amount to deal with, and he still doesn't have all his people in place. He still has a bunch of Obama holdovers that they have in certain areas. This is bad. He needs to get his shit together, regroup, get rid of this executive order, and issue a new one and smash these courts. It's very easy to smash the court. Just excuse me, just rescind the order. Paul Ryan is a complete joke. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Thank you for liking and sharing. God bless.